Hello, I'm Christian Adleta, learning something new with you today. Today's life lesson is being more of a doer and less of a feeler, and I'll explain what this means in a second. But I wanted to first introduce this book that I've been reading, Success is Not an Accident. It's a pretty good book. I'm only through the first chapter and I'm already intrigued and I'm telling you about it. So that's good enough for me to explain to you why I'm telling you about this book. So I was reading this book and I've been reading these books to try and learn something so I could share it with you. And I went through this thing and a couple pages in, on page 22, I read this thing called Feelers and Doers. And this kind of really explained a lot to me of how I've already been doing things. So it says the world can be divided into two kinds of people, and I'm not going to read the whole section, but just kind of give you a summary. The world can be divided into two groups of people, feelers and doers. Feelers are the people that feel into action. When they feel like exercising, they'll exercise. If they feel like eating, they'll eat. Or if they feel like doing this, then they'll do it. But if they don't feel like doing it, they don't do it. And that's just kind of how they are. So and I'll admit, I felt like making this video because I felt like I wanted to share this with you. I felt like you might like to hear this. But doers, on the other hand, they act their way into feeling. And I thought this was a little bit interesting. I highlighted this part. If they don't feel like doing action, they consider that emotion a distraction and do it in spite of that. I thought that was pretty funny because, normally if you're like, oh, you don't feel like doing something, oh, well then just don't do it. But they're like, no, screw that, I'm gonna do it regardless because it works they won't let their craving for short-term comfort derive them from the long-term goals and success. I'm like, bada bing, bada boom, there's a passage for you to read right now. So I thought that was very interesting. I wanted to kind of share how I'm going to change this and use this in my life. So, so making these videos, I felt like there's some sort of life lesson or something that I wanted to share. Something that I've learned that I wanted to I felt like doing it. And these are the videos that you see now are the ones that I really wanted to share with you. Now, there's a few others, like I probably have 10 or so others that are just kind of sitting and 10 other videos that I could have made if I just did it, but I didn't do it, so they're not done. Which is, honestly something I'm going to have to change. And from that perspective, how I think you could apply this into your own life, exercise, I think reading, I didn't really want to read this book, but once I started doing it, and I just did it because I knew that it needed to be done, and I knew that this would help me in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know that this book was going to help me make a video and work towards these goals, but it did, and I'm grateful for it. So yeah, that's kind of like the whole feelers versus doers. Feelers feel like they want to do something and they do it. Doers do it because they know it can help them long term. And I want to help you become a doer, and I think that's just by realizing that is so bada bing, bada boom, there it is. So yeah, if you learned something today, let me know in the comments below. Hey, don't scratch that. Comment if you want to comment. I love to read comments, but not a lot of people comment now. This got awkward. I had a plan. This went off the plan. Anyway, I hope you learned something new today. Hope you achieve all your life successful goals and stuff. If you want to see next episode 7 up here, episode 6 or 5, one of the two, 5 down here. And if you want to subscribe for more, my chest. Have a nice day.